my children always went to church. Keith was in the church too, all my children. And he always did say God had a calling on his life. But he didn't stop to talk to God about it, you know? And he told me one night he was walking and he came, that's after I didn't know he was in trouble then. And he came to this church and he said he went and sit on the steps of this church. He said it was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And he said as he sit there and he began to talk to the Lord about he knew that he had a calling on his life, but he had messed up. And he sit there, he said, and he sit there, and after he shedded tears and cried about it. And the first year he was in Huntsville, he began to write me and tell me about his experience with the Lord. And from then on, he was in Huntsville. The first year he went down there, and I think it was in September of 96. And 98, they moved him to Pulaski. You remember when those 8 guys, okay, they moved him there. And he just kept on. I have so many letters. Every letter he ever wrote me, he addressed it by the grace of God. And he said that that's how God got his attention, to put him down there. And then he began to teach his word. And he was so devoted. And they said, well, they had a preacher down there, revivals going on. And Miss Wilcox's husband, he a chaplain there. And he visited Keith one day. And when me and my sister went back down there the next week, he told me, he said, I'm going to steal your son. He said, because you know what? He said, he's too deep in God's word, even for me. He said, he way above me. That's just how God had implanted his word so he can manifest it to others. My daughter tell you, God always had a calling on his life, and he knew it. He said, but he had to be there to answer to his call. And he told me and my sister, he said, you know, I'm not ashamed. He said, that's the way God got my attention. He said, because if my life hadn't been taken while I was out there in this world, he said, I wouldn't have the chance with the Lord. He said, but now I do.